working. Okay, let me just double check if I'm live, if I'm in the right spot. Just 1 minute. Yes, okay. Hello everyone. Is Married at First Sight over? That's my first question. Okay, that's an important one. How are you guys doing? I've been using the world clock on my phone to check what time it was. So since we sort of settled on 8:30 Sydney time, I think I'm a little bit late, but hopefully you're all doing good. I just wanted to do a weekly live video. I didn't really plan to do it today, but I thought, you know, why not just start today? And then I'll set like a schedule where I can come in once a week and do one every week and just talk about some more tips. Hi Crystal, I get a little notification that says you're here, so how's it going? Today I just really wanted to, I can answer any questions if you have any questions, but also since I figured there would only be a few people here, I wanted to talk about how to overcome the fear of getting lost when you travel alone, because it is a little bit more scarier, and I think it's something that kind of holds people back. I think that fear of just getting lost when you're out and about and you're on your own. So I have a couple of sort of mental strength mindset tips first, because I think that's where you get the most help from, if you can sort of figure out your own mind. And then a couple of sort of just real world practical tips for if it really does happen and what you can do when it does, and then also what you can do to even prevent it happening. So we'll go through all of that. 1 second, I need water. I talk so fast, I always need to drink a lot of water. Okay, so the first one, I wrote notes to keep myself on track. The first one is just to accept that it's gonna happen. Like, try and take that fear of what if, when's it gonna happen? Like, take that away and just accept that you're in a new place, you're traveling somewhere where you don't know where you are, you don't know the surroundings, you're gonna get lost at some point. So that's just, it's just part of traveling, really. So just accept it, that it's something that is gonna happen, and take that like what if factor out of it. That's my first biggest tip, because then it gives you more power in terms of, you know it's gonna happen, you can prepare for it, and you can try and prevent it, as opposed to being left sort of powerless going, oh no, well, when's it gonna happen and what if it does, and things like that. So that's my first tip. Second tip is the other mindset one I have, which is really just think about, what are you actually afraid of? You know, because it's more than just getting lost somewhere, usually. Are you afraid of being vulnerable? Because when you're lost, you're very vulnerable, you know, you don't know where you are, anything could happen. So is it that vulnerability side that makes you afraid? Are you afraid of not having control of the situation? Because like usually you're in control of things. Things like that, just dig a little bit deeper to be like, what am I really, really afraid of? So I can sort of start overcoming that, if that makes sense. Chanel, she's making a lot of noise back there, sorry. What you doing? You look into those things, and I find that usually with fear-based thinking and fear-based problems, it's usually always goes back to something from when you were a kid. You know, like if you're afraid of being vulnerable and you know, not being able to, there's nobody who's going to help you, not being able to ask for help, or not being able to rely on people, something probably happened when you're a kid, you know, where something bad happened and the adults in your life weren't responsible. They didn't take care of you, you know, the way you probably needed to. You didn't feel heard, you didn't feel helped, you know. So it could be something else, you know, but things like that, it just always goes back to when you're a kid, hey. And if you can sort of fix that problem, it gives you more confidence to be able to handle the problems that you're going to face in life, you know. So I think those two are like really big ones. They sound simple. It sounds like, oh, you know, just give me some real tips that I can do. But I think understanding your mind, how it works, and then being able to overcome that is sort of the most helpful, because then you're self-reliant and you can get a lot of confidence that way. Do any of you guys get scared about getting lost when you're traveling alone? Just out of curiosity. I mean, there's only 2 of you, but if you do, let me know. And just if you know, agree or disagree, it's all good. So now I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. If my maths is good. 5 tips on like actual practical things that you can do if it happens or to prevent it happening. So first one I have is just to research dodgy areas. So if you're going to this new place, you don't know as much about it, you don't know what areas are good and bad compared to like, you know, where you live, you usually know what places to avoid. So just empower yourself by giving yourself that knowledge, you know, everything can be learnt on the internet. I usually read reviews. If I'm booking a hotel, I'll like read the reviews, and some people might mention, oh, this area is a bit dodgy or whatever. And then if there's nothing in the reviews, I also just just do a quick Google, you know, like dodgy areas in whatever place. And then also I look at like what type of shops or what type of businesses are around. Like if there's a lot of strip clubs and kebab stores, that's probably going to be like a more dodgy side of town. And then if there's like more high-end stores or just hotels and things like that, probably a little bit nicer. But just, you can find everything on the internet. Excuse me, Crystal, yes. Venice gives me a heart attack because my phone service is bad. Venice is the worst for phone service. Mine never works there either, and it's so annoying. And on top of that, like everything's such an alleyway, like so hard to get around there. I 100% agree, Venice is a tricky one. So the next one I have, so do your research, and also do your research on whatever crime you might need to be aware of, because like pickpocketing is pretty much everywhere. I think no matter where you travel, you should be using your precautions against that, like keeping your bag zipped up, keeping it across you so no one can like pull it off because they would have to pull you with it. Things like that. Don't leave things in your pockets. Don't be flashy with your cameras and stuff like that. So research what crimes you might need to be aware of, because everyone's going to have that, but then they might have some other, you know, tricks that are going around that you should know about. For example, if there's strange people here at my house, like I just don't answer. Like I don't want to buy anything, and I don't want whatever I found that they're usually like scoping out my house because they ask a lot of intrusive questions about where my husband is and how long he'll be gone for and things like that, which I never answer. But you know, that's just something to be aware of for living where I live specifically. And there's going to be different things for everywhere you visit, so you could be aware of those things. Arm yourself with knowledge, okay? Number 4, download Google Maps in an offline mode, or use another offline map system. There's maps.me, I think, is an app you can put on your phone, so you have a way to figure out how to get around by using your phone. And usually it's a bit obvious when people are using their phone for a map, you know. I feel like I look pretty obvious when I do it, but it's a lot less obvious than looking like that lost tourist who's like pulling out a map and, oh, where is this, you know. So you can use your phone, and then if you can get the offline ones, I just download offline custom maps into Google Maps. Then you don't have to worry about using up all your data while you're abroad and things like that. And I had a train of thought and it just went that way. Yeah, we'll see if that one comes back, okay? So yeah, using an offline map, oh, that was what I was gonna say. The Google Maps one, it vibrates when you have to make a turn. So usually I'll do a glance and be like, okay, there's a right turn coming up. Put it in my pocket and just have my hand on it so I can feel when it vibrates, and then I know the turn. And then I can like casually know, okay, the next turn's gonna be left, put it back in my pocket, keep walking. Once it vibrates, I turn left. I do things like that just to make it less obvious, like than staring at a screen and following everything. And also because the more you stare at a screen, the less attention you're paying to your surroundings. And I think that's really important as a solo traveler, especially a woman. You need to be aware of what's going on around you. You need to be aware of the people and what they're acting like and things like that. So don't be staring at your screen the whole time. Google Maps has that good function to help. Number 5, save emergency numbers in your phone. So you can find the local emergency numbers. You could just ask at a hotel. You could just Google them also. What number you need to use in an emergency, and then have it saved in your phone so you know it's there and you could use it quickly if in the worst case scenario you had to. And that's just also going to be like a backup plan that gives you a little more confidence in the back of your mind, because you know, like, well, worst case, if something goes wrong, I have that number, I can make that call quickly instead of having to Google in a panic, what is the emergency number for Spain or whatever. So that's just another thing. I think a lot of things give you confidence just when you're prepared. So that's just another way you can be prepared. I would also save the number for your hotel. and the address for your hotel. You could just take a screenshot or write it down in a note or something like that, but have those details saved and able to be accessed quickly on your phone too. Those are another ones that are really handy. Number 7. Ooh, powering through this one. Probably just because like I get nervous and talk really fast. Number 7 is use something you will remember to get your bearing and sense of direction. So usually when I'm walking around, I'm sort of taking notice of the things that stick out to me, and it might be like a different store or a landmark or just something that sticks out that I'm like, oh, I always take a left turn at that statue or whatever, and that will help you get around when you're walking around the town. Just don't pick things that move. Like cars are not a good example because they could move and then it could sort of frazzle your sense of direction. So use things that are there and they're not going anywhere, So yeah, I usually do shops, like if a sign catches my eye, a shop sign or a monument or things like that. And then be really present as you're walking around. Like pay attention to things, and it will really help give you that sense of direction because you will remember things. I know it sounds obvious, but how many times have you been out and people are like just staring at their phone the whole time, or just not paying attention to what's around them? And if you do just pay attention, it makes everything so much easier. Water break. I want to do these lives actually with like an alcoholic drink and call it day drinking with K-Mac, but then I have to go out for a drive later and I don't think it's a good idea to be day drinking before I have to go for a drive. Italian roads are crazy enough as it is without any sort of alcohol, so I'm sticking to water today, but we might work on that in future. What do you think? Also, my husband was like, you can't encourage day drinking. But I don't, it's for a video, I don't do it on an average day. Fun police, that's what we call him. So the last one, if you do get lost, if you're in that event, you are somewhere, you have no idea where you are or how to get back to your hotel or anything like that. You're in this situation. Go into a shop, go into a hotel, go into a cafe and ask for help. If you go into a cafe, like buy a drink, be nice. But go somewhere safe. Don't ask like strangers on the street because you don't really know who's trustworthy, but somebody in a service role who's working, they're probably going to be a safer option. So just go in there. I like cafes. Just get a drink and sit down and then ask them. And then you can also sort of, it flows the conversation to be like, oh, what else do you recommend seeing while I'm here? Things like that. So you can get even more tips. But even just to get you out of that sticky spot, they might be able to recommend where to walk to get back to where you need to go, or, a good taxi or something like that. But I would recommend, if you do get stuck, go in somewhere reliable and ask for help. I don't recommend asking strangers on the streets. That happened to me a few times, not asking strangers, but just in Morocco, man, I got lost all the time. So I would just like go into a shop and be like, where is a Medina? And it's so easy to get lost there. Like I was lost all the time. But those are my tips. I love that you love the idea. It's happening, okay? 1 week when I don't have to go for a drive, we'll start day drinking with K-Mac. We'll just do a Q&A and see what happens. Probably get weird. I don't really drink much, so I'm a bit of a Cadbury, as they say. Well, that's all my tips. You guys, if you have any questions, I guess this will be on the replay. You can just leave them and I should be able to answer them if they're in a comment. I hope that's helped. That's like the main goal of all my content and ideas and posts. Like I hope it offers something that can help you just based on sort of my experiences. That's about it for today. Maybe we'll try this again next week. We can try a different day of the week if that suits. I was just like, let's just do it today. I'm getting bored with updating on my website posts and need something new to do. Gary, you're late. Thank you, Crystal. Awesome. I just want to wait to see my dad's come back now. He was probably scrolling on his Facebook or watching the news. Let me guess. Were you watching the news? Come on, Gaz. Come on. Okay. I bet. What time is it in Australia? Oh, my phone's... Good tips, not just for women. Oh, thanks, Gaz. You're the best. All right, I gotta go, and because mostly I just ran out of tips. I will see you guys later, and yeah, if you have any questions, add it in the comments. I should be able to get back to them. All right, bye guys, ciao.